We have resolved petrol scarcity cash crunch issues. INEC.
Wiki approves free venue for APC presidential rally in Rivers.
Nigerians must ensure general election holds. OBJ.
Alleged money laundering Kogi First Lady at large.
Federal government blames Rofitias for hike in petrol price.
FEBUARY CBN governor in closed-door meeting hours after Supreme Court rulings.
400 of our teachers killed by insurgents. Borno governor. 71% of schools in Borno, Adamawa, Yobe don't have qualified teachers. UNICEF.
INEC staffer arraigned for allegedly selling PVCs in Enugu.
Ban on old Naira note. IMF asks for extension as Supreme Court holds February 10 deadline. Allow your successor to do it. Yeti Allah tells Buhari. CSOs reject ruling. Emefiele visits Aso Rock.
INEC appeal Osun Tribunal.
MC Oluomo remove Lagos wreck now. Article tells INEC.
We are in scheming for postponement of general election, says APC.
Hejero takes over from Waba, gives federal government 1 week to resolve Naira scarcity.
INEC staffer arraigned for allegedly selling PVCs in Enugu.
INEC appeals tribunal judgment sacking Adeleke as Osun governor lists 44 grants while verdict should be set aside.
Abia government uncover plans to create Aba Emirate Council stop coronation of Emir.
And now to sport. Country group set to buy Man United. Ikpeba slams Chelsea over Aubameyang treatment. Joshua signs new trainer ahead April 1st boot. Arsenal could sell Balogun in summer. Olise battles Saka's son, others for Portico Awards. This and many more after this break. Good morning and welcome to another edition of Headlines today, 9th of February 2023. My name is Ulushola Egbodofo and with me in the houses.
Good morning, Sonia Onondi.
Sonia, you have the first story.
Yes, the Independent National Electoral Commission has appealed the judgment of the Election Petition Tribunal that nullified the victory of Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke in the July 16 governorship poll. The electoral body, in the notice of appeal dated 30th January 2023, filed before the Court of Appeal Akure Division, listed 44 grounds of appeal and asked the Court of Appeal to set aside the judgment of the tribunal. The Commission has asked the Court to dismiss the petition filed by the All Progressive Congress and its governorship candidate, Mr. Boyega Oyetola, for lacking in merit. It also recalled that a tribunal panel led by Justice Tessie Kume nullified Mr. Ademola Adeleke victory and declared Mr. Oyetola as the elected governor of the state.
The Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, on Wednesday struck out an appeal seeking disqualification of the presidential candidates of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, from participating in the forthcoming general election. A 3-member panel of justices of the appellate court in the unanimous judgment struck out the appeal filed by a political party, Allied People Movement, against the Independent National Electoral Commission, the Labour Party, and its presidential candidate Peter Obi for lacking in merit. Justice Ugochukwu Ogachu, who delivered the judgment, held that from the totality of evidence before the court, this appeal is devoid of merit, same field, and deserving of being struck out. In striking out the appeal, Justice Okago held that the appellant could not prove that the respondent violated the Electoral Act and added that none of the issues raised by the appellant met the condition for disqualification of a candidate in an election. They said the appellant did not make the list of members of the Labour Party available to the court, and that the court is not supposed to look for evidence for the appellant.
The Enugu State Police Command said that a woman has been caught in a fire video allegedly selling permanent voters card (PVC) to prospective voters at 1,000 naira each at Emene Primary School in the state capital, and accomplice, a staff of Independent National Electoral Commission, have been apprehended and arraigned in the court. The police identified the principal suspect as Chinedu Nnamani, aged 41, while the INEC staff in Kuruka, Patient Obena, aged 38, who allegedly gave her the cards for distribution to the actual owner, was also charged. According to the statement by the State Police Relation Officer DSP Dane Ndukwe, the suspects were apprehended by detectives on January 31, 2023, but were arraigned in court after investigation was concluded recently.
In the meantime, the Police Service Commission has warned the personnel of the Nigerian Police Force to be deployed for the election to restrict themselves from engaging in conduct of vote buying or other misconduct. In a statement by the spokesperson of the Commission, Mr. Kechuku Ani, arrangements had been concluded to deploy staff monitors to the 774 local government areas of the country to monitor the conduct of police personnel on election duties. According to the statement, the Commission assured that police personnel found negligent or outrightly involved in official misconduct would be disciplined in line with the provisions of the law. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Akali Baba, has approved the setting up of an election planning, monitoring and evaluation team for deployment across the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja. The team is to identify, analyze and mitigate threats, as well as carry out on-the-spot assessment and appraisal of the security and placement ahead of the polls. This was contained in a statement made available to newsmen in Abuja by the first spokesperson, Olumiwa Adichobi.
The Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprises, CPPE, has welcomed the restraining order of the Supreme Court on the timeline to the currency swap. The center experts believe that this would restore normalcy to economic activities, especially in the distributive trade sector, the informal sector, and the rural economy. It will also douse current social tension and the risk of social unrest in the country. It's noted. A statement signed by the management director of the CPPE, Mr. Muda Yusuf, said the small business and the ordinary citizen were the biggest victims of the unspeakable disruption and hardship inflicted by the impractical deadline given by the Central Bank of Nigeria on cash swap. They are the biggest users of cash, the enterprises noted.
The persistent naira crunch in the country has attracted the attention of the International Monetary Fund, necessitating a call for extension of the February 10 deadline if the challenges being faced cannot be mitigated. The IMF wrote on behalf of the IMF President Representative Harry Essien. The IMF would like to share the following statement to the attention of the press and the public. The call by the IMF is coming not just as the Supreme Court restrained the Central Bank of Nigeria from banning the use of old naira note in the country from Friday, that is tomorrow. In a ruling on Wednesday, the Apex Court said Nigerians with old 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira notes should be allowed to transact businesses without restriction after the deadline fixed by the Apex Bank. The 7-member panel of the Justice of the FEBUARY, led by Justice John Okoro, halted the move by the federal government in a ruling in an ex parte application brought by the government of Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara states. The 3 states had specifically applied for an order of interim injunction restraining the federal government through the CBN or the commercial banks from suspending or determining or ending on February 10 the time frame within which the now older version of the 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1000 naira denominations of the naira may no longer be legal tender, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice for interlocutory injunction. And this will be our talking point this morning. As ban on old naira notes, IMF asks for extension as Supreme Court on February 10, that is tomorrow, deadline. Wicked Lord's Court ruling says Rivers to join suit, and the number to dial is 0818 777 Supreme Court ruling on CBN deadline meets verdict of High Court. Others. Legal practitioner Mr. Mike Ezekhome, speaking on the ruling of the Supreme Court halting the deadline of the use of old naira notes, said, in line with the hierarchy of courts, the decision stands tall over other rulings of the High Court or any other court. It described the Supreme Court as the big masquerade, such that other courts, which it described as the little masquerade, will have to keep mute. Ozekeme, who spoke on a television interview, pointed out that the Supreme Court had not decided on the case brought before it, but has only ruled that the status quo ante before the new naira note crisis broke out should remain till February 15, when it will hear the case.
Why President Muhammadu Buhari has received the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Governor Emefiele, in Aso Rock, Abuja. This comes hours after the Supreme Court ruling on Wednesday, stopping the February 10 deadline for the validity of 200 naira notes, 500 naira notes, and 1000 naira banknotes. It will be recalled that a 7-man panel of the Supreme Court, led by Justice John Okoro, in a unanimous ruling, granted the interim injunction after an ex parte filed by Kogi, Kaduna, and Zamfara state government. The Ebe Court also held that the federal government and the CBN must not continue with the deadline pending the determination of the hearing on February 15th.
Following the challenges confronting Nigerians on the current scarcity of the new naira notes in petrol in the country, the Miyetti Alakatu Bidders Association of Nigeria has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to reverse the policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria on the naira note and allow its successor to handle the issue. The association alleged that the policy was a plot by some politicians to rubbish Buhari's administration before and after the expiration of his tenure. The leader of Magban in the southeast, Alhaji Gidado Siddiqui, who spoke to journalists in Oka on Wednesday, appealed to Nigerians to bear with the federal government, saying the challenges will soon be over. Siddiqui noted that the redesigning of the naira denominations had caused more hardship for the citizenry. Hence, Buhari should suspend the policy and allow whoever emerges the next president to handle it. And on your view segment today, we are taking a look at the ban on old naira notes. IMF says asks for extension as Supreme Court halt February 10 deadline. Wike Lord's Court ruling says Rivers to join suit, and this will be our talking point this morning. How did you feel about this topic? And the number to dial is 0818-777-577.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has said Kogi First Lady Rashidat Bello is still at large over alleged fraud. Also, the agency on Wednesday Harim Ali Bello, identified as a nephew to the Kogi governor before a federal high court in Abuja, in a statement by Mr. Wisin Wujwara, the EFCC spokesperson. The agency said that The duo was stuck alongside 3 others on an 18-count charges burden on criminal misappropriation and money laundering to the tune of over 3 billion naira, 81 million naira, 804,554 naira.
The newly sworn leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress has vowed to take necessary steps against the federal if the scarcity of new naira note is not brought under control at the end of next week. The new president of the NLC, Comrade Joe Ajaero, made this known at the International Conference Center Abuja on Wednesday when he delivered his acceptance speech. The NLC said ensure that Nigerians are protected from all anti-people policies and that plundering in governance is reduced to the barest minimum while government is assisted to work for the majority. Then the NLC shall therefore robustly engage government to stop the impunity and pervasive wickedness currently going on in the country in the name of petroleum products.
The All Progressive Congress has denied reports in certain national daily that it was scheming to seek an extension of the date for the general election. The National Publicity Secretary of the party, Barrister Felix Moka, in a statement on Wednesday said that the APC-led federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari has no such plot. Moka maintained that President Muhammadu Buhari has left no one in doubt as to his unshakable commitment to bequeathing a befitting legacy of a credible, free and fair election and has enacted unprecedented electoral reform and innovation that has placed the country in a good stead to deliver 2023 general election and bolster the country's democratic consolidation, stressing that the government is ready for the general election and remain confident that Nigeria will overwhelmingly renew their mandate in a peaceful, free and credible electoral contest.
You can still call us on 08035716687 for your contribution this morning, or 08035716687 for your contribution. The United Nations Children's Fund has revealed that only 29% of schools in the Northeast have teachers with a minimum qualification. It specifically said 71% of schools in Borno, Adamawa and Yobe states that are operating under unqualified teachers. Meanwhile, the Borno State government says it has lost more than 400 teachers to the activities. Meanwhile, the Borno State government says it has lost more than 400 teachers to the activities of the insurgents in the last 10 years, and that the state is only recovering from the ravages of insurgency on the education sector. UNICEF Chief of Maiduguri Field Office Pyong Nyungwen spoke in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, at a media dialogue session to amplify the achievements of the Global Partnership for Education Accelerated Funding Project, event which was organized by the Child's Right Information Bureau of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture in collaboration with UNICEF through participants from various media organizations across the country concerned by the catastrophic destruction of schools and displacement of people, including children. The Northeast, the Global Partnership on Education approved and accelerated fund grants to the tune of $21.4 million for building and rehabilitation of classrooms, provision instructional materials and training. As we call it. Hello, good morning. Hello? Good morning.
contributing from Okebale.
You're welcome.
Okay. This cashless policy is not easy for all Nigerians at the moment. Power is erratic. No regular network service for immediate transfer. The situation has turned to economic mismanagement. CBNs will give alternative channel to alleviate the suffering of the masses. There should be more extension, please. However, there should be no violence. We should not go about attacking the banks. Good morning.
Thank you. Yeah, the governor of the River State, Mr. Yeson Wiki, has graciously approved the venue for the campaign of All Progressive Congress. According to the council, the approval was sequent to the application by the National Secretary of the APC PPC, Mr. James Abiodun Faliki, to the state government seeking for approval to use the Adoke Amesimeka Stadium for the National Party to hold its presidential rally on the scheduled date. The application was in compliance with an existing law of the state, which emanated from Extant Order 21, which demand for the payment of 5 million naira non-refundable charges by political parties who wish to use the public venues, places for their campaign in the state. The group said the government regretted that the venue they applied for was not available for use at the time scheduled for the event, but instead approved alternative venue for the Tinubu Shetima campaign rally next Wednesday.
Let's now move on to sports. Former Super Eagles star Victor Ipeba has slammed Chelsea FC over the treatment of ex-Gabon captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Aubameyang's future with the English club was recently placed in doubt after the 33-year-old striker suffered the humiliation of being omitted from the Blues UEFA 25-man Champions League squad. Chelsea manager Graham Potter made changes as he excluded Enzo Fernandez, João Felix and Miyakilo Murek in the squad and needed to make room by omitting one man from their list.
While Manchester United have missed their chance to level defending Premier League champions Manchester City, and as they were ahead in a 2-2 draw by Leeds United on Wednesday night. Leeds, who are without a manager, launched the score sheet in the very first minute of the game as Wilfred Nonto's right-footed shot from outside of the box earlier found the back of the net. United went into half-time, one goal down, and at the return from the break, United's defender Rafael Varane doubled the score line for Leeds with an own goal in 48th minute. Fighting back, however, United's forward Marcus Rashford put in one for the team in the 62nd minute, which was doubled by Jordan Sancho in the 78th minute, leveling the scoreline for United. Failing to secure a win, the Red Devils remain in third place on the league table with 43 points, 2 points behind rivals Manchester City, who sit in second place with 45 points.
Anthony Joshua has hired Derek James as his new coach ahead of his heavyweight bout with Jeremy Franklin in April. The former World Heavyweight champion will look to return to winning ways after suffering successive defeat to Ukrainian Olestik Usyk when he takes on the American at the O2 Arena. Moments of heavyweight has opted to part ways with former trainer Robert Gazier in hopes of the winning outcome in April. And lastly, Super Eagles eligible striker Folarin Balogun could be sold by Arsenal in the summer, despite the unwillingness of the Premier League leaders to entertain offers for the England under-21 international in the January transfer window. Balogun has hinted in the past that he will consider playing for Nigeria where he has his roots in international football, is currently leading the French Ligue 1 top scorers chart with 14 goals above the more illustrious PSG star Kylian Mbappe. And with our sports story, we have come to the end of today's edition of Headlines. Join our colleagues tomorrow for another scintillating package. My name is Olusola Kembelofo.
And my name is Saya Onoibe.
The producer for this program is Mutunaya Iba. The production advisor is Abimbola Babatunde. We say good morning.